Hi everyone, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. Stop me if you've heard this story before, but do you ever hear about the person who just got on with their own stuff, was attacked by a group of people saying, hey, you should change this. We don't like your artistic vision. And then another group of people came and said, hey, he's perfectly entitled to his own artistic vision. Leave him alone. You want to create? Do your own stuff. To have the person who you defended go, thanks, guys. Listen to these people's videos and go, hey, you've raised some very good points and I enjoyed watching these. Only for the dreaded phone call to come in. Ring, ring. Ring, ring. Hello? Oh, hi. Is that label group? Oh, you've placed a label on the people defending me. Okay, I will now turn around and I will disregard them. Hi, everyone who defended me. I think you're all a bunch of alt-right bigots. Tell me if you've heard a story like that or something similar in recent times when it comes to a franchise, because I've heard it way too many now. And this story, as many of you will probably know by now, just hit so close to home for me because I did something stupid. I'm the Dumbo of this story because I tried to reward somebody for being objective. And then I got slapped in the face and spat on for that reward. So let's get into it. A few days ago, morons on Twitter, because that's what morons on Twitter do, they took I think it's the 2009, might be 2011, but they took the Spider-Man 601 cover of J. Scott Campbell from, a dozen years or more ago, and once again attacked it. Why? Because J. Scott Campbell draws attractive, sexy ladies. I believe, by the way, his muse is his wife. But he draws attractive ladies. Mary Jane here from this Spider-Man. She's looking very demure. She's cute. She's got lovely red hair. She's got beautiful titties. She's drinking coffee. That's the kind of bit which turned me on. She's got lovely, lovely hips. And just looks very attractive looking. She's looking a little bit sad. Maybe she's a little bit sad because Peter's had to leave again to save the day. And she knows that he works hard being a hero, but she also gets a little bit lonely. It's a lovely little cover. It's a lovely cover. So some Twitter moron came along and it's just like, I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna fix your art. I'm gonna cover her upsies because girlfriends, they do not like to look sexy for their boyfriends. Okay? I'm gonna change your pose because I don't like the pose and I don't think it's particularly realistic. And then I'm gonna change her faces, her expressionsies. And then I'm going to change her armsies and make it look like she's doing lots of... Maybe. But that's a hell of a forearm you got there. I think it's bigger than mine. And they try to do the fix. J. Scott Campbell decided to have a bit of fun with this. That's his prerogative to do. Personally, I thought it was fine. I thought it was great. I had a chuckle over it. Where he fixed the fix, where he took the art that they had changed and he actually fixed it himself, fixing the forearm, the breasts of the lady, the pose, the face, the whole lot. And he did it in a sarcastic manner, and it was funny. I thought it was funny to do. You can agree disagree, that's absolutely fine. This is just my personal opinion. Kel Surprise, he got attacked for doing this. How dare you, blah, blah, blah. Oh my Godsies, hiding behind, hiding behind labels to justify your attacking. And a lot of people came to the defense of J. Scott Campbell. Good people. Good people that I know and good people that I don't know, but I know of their character and I'm fully aware of their videos because I watch them. And these are good, rational human beings that I don't see a scrap or an ounce of hate in them. And for a brief moment in time, it looked like a mainstream comic book artist like J. Scott Campbell was looking at things from an objective standpoint. He saw the people who were attacking him and their puristic mentality. And then he saw the people who were defending him and his right to create the art that he wants to create. And J. Scott Campbell belongs to that breed of people that create attractive women. And there is this very bizarre, cult-like, and it is cult-like, mentality at the moment that women aren't allowed to be attractive in comics anymore. That's why we see the likes of Carl Manvers and all this shite being placed into comics. Of course, curves, they're a thing of the past. No. Not for the male gaze. Not, and I'll just say the correct phrasing of this, not for the customer. Because the customer likes a bit of cheesecake. And you're like, no cheesecake for you. You're going to get a pile of shit instead. So, after the defending and after the attacking, J. Scott Campbell decided to post this post, which I thought was great. I enjoyed hearing the recent art fixing debate discussed on all of these YouTubers' vids. So I thought I'd share them with you guys. So he's said that he's enjoyed hearing their debates and he shares the links. We see Anna, that Star Wars girl. She recreated the pose as, best she can with her figure. And it was good. It was a good representation. We had Clownfish TV. Great channel. I love watching Clownfish TV videos. They had their debate. Talking and drawing with Shane Davis, comic book pro. Shane Davis, of course. We all know Shane. J. Scott Campbell responds to Art Fixer. Dan Pham. Dan Pham, probably one of the most unassuming in as much as just, I don't think I've ever heard anything remotely nasty out of this person's mouth. She just comes across as a very nice, well-rounded, objective person. And then howtodrawcomics.net. I gotta be honest, I don't know who this channel is. Anyway, so there's a bunch here, and he's linked some of them too. Okay? No, it's not okay, but we'll get into that in a moment. So this is where I come in and my stupidity. Okay? This is where I come in because I'm like, kudos, J. Scott Campbell, kudos to you. I'm really impressed with the fact that as a mainstream comic book artist, you haven't capitulated to the mob and you've listened to the reasoned arguments of why people believe why you're fully entitled to your artistic idea, which is 100%. This is his vision. You can like it, you can dislike it, but it's his vision. And it's a very popular vision. And it used to be a very popular vision for 80 years in comics. Until a bunch of horrible, censoring, dictatorial people came in and said, no, we're going to change. We're going to change what you like in comics. because we don't like it. How fucking selfish is that? We don't like what the customer wants, so we're not going to give the customer what they want. And very few people stuck by their guns. So I went and did a stupid thing in hindsight. I wanted to reward J. Scott Campbell for this objectivity. I wanted to reward him for being an artist in the mainstream comic book industry who dared to defy the cancellation mob. And I'm a fan of his artwork. I've actually collected multiple pieces of his artwork directly from his website. Signed pieces. I got the whole collection of the Catwoman 80th anniversary, all signed. Because I thought I've always thought his art has been gorgeous. He draws attractive, appealing comic book women that I grew up loving. So I went out and I bought something which would mean something to me, which was a J. Scott Campbell Justice League picture with Wonder Woman in the forefront. A beautiful print signed by J. Scott Campbell. Classic Batman, yellow symbol. Classic Flash, Aquaman, Hawkgirl, Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, Superman, and of course, beautiful Wonder Woman. I thought I'd do that. And this is J. Scott Campbell's likes, and he liked this. But the phone rang, folks. Sometime overnight, the phone rang. And the phone said, J. Scott Campbell, the people who you have just put the links out for their channels, they are disgusting comic skaters. Disgusting comic skaters. They are racists, anistophobes, and hate women, and yada, 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 fucking yada. We get this post that comes out. To get serious for a moment. Now, this came through as Friday Night Tights was on, and I skimmed it over very quickly, and thought it just seemed to be I'm not part of Comicsgate. I saw that, and then on the other side, I saw where he said, I find myself somewhere in the middle. So I thought, oh, this seems like a decent, well-reasoned, I'm not part of Comicsgate, but I listen to what some people who might be abridged, but we'll get to that in a moment, had to say, yada. So I should have paid more attention, but after the Friday Night Tights was over and I could actually spend some time reading through this, I was just like, oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, Jesus Christ. It's time to attack the people that defended you. And not only that, it's time to suddenly go from objective to close-minded. In a split second. When somebody has had their ears open and listened to reasonable people and suddenly go, no, I got told you're a this. I've done no research myself, apart from what I've read. What I've read that was written by people who phoned me up and told me what horrible people they are. People that are responsible for the destruction of the mainstream comic book industry phoned me up. To get serious for a moment, it's been brought to my attention that there are some bigoted, hateful, and completely over-the-line comments buried in my The Fixes In thread. FYI, I've spent the last few nights spending hours trying to catch as many of them as I could, but let me tell you, policing a hot topic in a constantly changing IG Instagram thread isn't easy. IG's algorithm moves and shifts timelines, and often it feels like you're lost in a corn maze or the film Inception. So if you find one in there that hasn't been purged, do not view that as an endorsement for me. Who could think that a comment that a random person posts is an endorsement of you? I'll show you what an endorsement is. This. That's an endorsement. The links that you posted. The links that you said, I enjoyed hearing the recent R-fixing debate discussed on all 3 of these YouTube vids, so I thought I'd share them with you. That comes across as an endorsement. An endorsement for people to go listen to their videos and make their own minds up. But you can't say that you endorse a random person's comment, so why are you even policing the thread? Anyway. At some point, I had to get on with my work and my life, and I'm literally the only one who can monitor it. I've considered just locking up the comments thread altogether, but was concerned that it would be taken in the wrong way, like I was blocking open discourse or seen as a retreat by me or something. Yeah, open discourse is a beautiful thing. So it's such a shame when somebody goes so close-minded. Let me make this as clear as I possibly can. I am completely and totally against any bigoted comments, anti-LGBT and alphabet community, anti-trans, hate speech of any kind, threats, any of that sort of thing. I have no affiliation with Comicsgate. I'm not alt-right. I'm not anti-woman or endorse any fringe group that push hate. Now, because these are all lumbered together, Comicsgate, alt-right, anti-women, push hate. That, of course, makes it sound like Comicsgate, or what is perceived as Comicsgate, is what they push. And that, of course, is because that's all the mainstream comic book industry hear about Comicsgate. Now, of course, these people here, I don't think Anna classes herself as Comicsgate, but, you know, she's so entrenched within it, I could see why people would. Clownfish are not Comicsgate. Shane Davis is, so there's 1, possibly 2, and DanFam, who is not. So at least half the people here are not, but have got lumbered in with it, have just got lumbered in with it. And of course, if Anna is Comicsgate, she's a female, and if Comicsgate is anti-female, then why is a female, from your perspective, within Comicsgate, speaking up defending you? DanFam, female. Clownfish TV, half female. It's a married couple. Any reasonable person with a shred of logic in their fucking tiny brain would suddenly realize, yeah, they're probably not anti-female. But there again, that would have to allow you to make your own individual thought. Instead of being told by the phone to denounce them. And then proceed, as we'll see shortly, in when people respond to your statement, proceed to constant use, well, I read that they were this. Well, I read that they were that. Do you know what you saw, Mr. Campbell? You saw their fucking videos! And you objectively saw what they had to say for yourself. So now, instead of believing what you yourself saw and interpreted, you've now become closed-minded and gone into the regression of, I read they were. Because the phone told me to do so. Because the phone told me to denounce them. The post and commentary in question, whichever side you may fall on the topic, was intended to be playful, perhaps a little snarky in tone, but absolutely not meant to inspire hate. From a normal human being, that's exactly the perspective that it came across to me. Sarcastic? Sure. Playful? Absolutely. To promote hate? No. It was simply saying, this is my artistic vision. Go away. Some have insinuated that by referring to the person as non-binary Finn, that I was somehow mocking the term. I wasn't. It was the only name I had to work with, even settled on NBF, to try and make that a non-issue. Going back to the first, there we go. That's what he had to work with. Non-binary Finn. But you have just shown here yourself that they have used that label to attack you. The side that was attacking you is hiding behind their labels to try to say that that makes them above criticism. Art fixing, artist disrespect, art community bullying, and the more importantly, art censorship was the discussion. Agreed. Just like the people who defended you agreed. Which you've now labelled anti-alt-right, anti-women, fringe group that push hate, anti-LGBT, anti-trans. Because you've just broad-stroked these terminologies. I don't believe art censorship is a left or a right thing. In my observations, both sides use it as a tool and as a strategy for their individual means and agendas. But at my core, as a creative individual and as an artist, let me state I'm fundamentally against censorship and being told in general what I can and cannot draw by any group, political or otherwise. I fully agree. Now, you may have seen it used as a tool, political tool, but I can just tell you as a customer, and I see this with thousands of customers, that when we say, hey, we like our attractive women, we like our sexy art, we like our buff dudes, we get told by people within your industry, your mainstream industry, that we're sexist, we're misogynists. We get told that as a customer. Just because I'm at odds with a lot of extreme viewpoints and attempts at censorship of my art from the left doesn't mean I'm aligned with the alt-right. Why is there just two fucking poles here? Why is there two poles? Why do you think that just because you're being attacked from the... And it's not the left, you're being attacked from the far left, by the way, who are just as racist, bigoted, transphobic, etc. as the alt-right. They just disguise it with virtue instead of hatred. But you go from there's either the left or the alt-fucking-right. Do you know how sick and tired customers are of being told that they're all fucking right, or Nazis, or white supremacists, or misogynists, or bigots, or transphobes, or this, or that, or the other? It's reductive statements like this that just broad stroke that do it. And the phone tells you that that's it. There's either our way or the highway. The phone told me. I know we're led to believe that the current landscape is an either or an or. No, no, no. These people are pushing that. You'll find that a lot of people who are speaking out against the left, the far left, are either left themselves, like me, or liberal, classic liberals, or centrists, or libertarians, or slightly on the right, not all right, slightly on the right, more conservative. But it's your side of the equation. The fucking industry's infiltrated far left side of the equation that says it's the far left or it's fucking Nazis. And that's what's driven so many people away. It's not... This isn't a presidential election. No, it's not. We never think that way. It's because, again, your industry is just so consumed with anti-Trump, 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 anti-Trump for the last God knows how many fucking years that it gets drowned in a political debate. We don't want your politics. We want fun comics. We want fun comics to look at because it's a visual medium, and we want fun comics to read because we want to be fucking entertained. Not dragged into some fucking reductive political fucking ideology from the bunch of fuckwits which came into your industry and poisoned it. And fucking salted the earth in the process. There can be, and there are many shades of grey in regards to all these kinds of different topics. So why have you gone so close-minded all of a sudden? You claim that there are shades of grey, and then suddenly you go close-minded with reductive blanket statements of anti-women, anti-trans, alt-right, blah, blah, blah. And I find myself feeling I'm somewhere in the middle. Welcome to the fucking club. And I feel a lot of us are feeling that way these days. No shit. In closing, I've appreciated the discussion. Most of you have been awesome, insightful, at times funny and informative. And I've had so many friends and colleagues reach out to me in all sorts of ways to let me know they deeply appreciate the firm stance I've taken in our community. Yes, and do you know what? Do you know what? They all did it privately because they know that they can't speak out, because they know that they will be the next target for cancellation by their own people in the industry. Not by anyone who just wants fun, interesting comics to read. They're worried of the people who you are working for, not us. Not the customer. And when I say us, I mean the customer. Not Comicsgate, not fucking Indiegogo, not Kickstarter. Customers. We're not here to cancel you. Your industry, the people within your industry, they're the ones who are, and that's why those people reached out in private to you, but they won't speak up. And that's why your industry's dead. That's why mainstream comics is dead. And it's only been kept alive because it's owned, Marvel, by Disney, and DC by Warner Brothers and AT&T. If they cut ties with them tomorrow, those companies would be dead. They are experiencing the same fight against the slowly squeezing vice, crushing artistic expression a little more every day. And most of them feel like it's not a safe and secure enough situation as I am to push back. No, they need their jobs. They need their jobs. And where were you when Sean Gordon Murphy was being cancelled by Mags Versaggio, who hid behind her representation? Or Joe Glass, who hid behind his representation? Or Kwanzaa, because he hid behind his representation? But if we criticize them, suddenly we're bigoted, anti-trans, anti-gay, anti-black? No. We're speaking up for what is right. Love bombed. But nobody stood up and defended. Nobody stood up and defended openly Sean Gordon Murphy. Nobody had the testicular fortitude to make a stand against him. To make a stand with him against what was 3 attempts to cancel him by Mags Versaggio. 3. Now you can do your blacklists behind the scenes and in quiet. But until people have the balls to actually step up and vocally express and denounce this sort of behavior within the mainstream comic book industry, and I'm looking at people like Jim Lee here, then the people who you've just mentioned who daren't speak up because they need their jobs and are fearful that they will be targeted next will constantly live and work in fear. This is drawing funny books. Nobody in this industry should live in fear of their job apart from if they're not selling comics. That's the only thing. That's the only thing that they should be worried about, is the number of sales of their book. Anyways, there are probably some grammatical errors and a few typos here. Don't care. Hopefully you can live with those. It's a Friday evening, and I'm firing this off quickly. Apologies for the serious tone of the post. Don't worry, the phone call. We understand you got the phone call. Looking forward to getting back to the posting of art, blah, 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 blah. So obviously, there was a lot of kickback to this from people. I knew this video was going to go on, and I do apologize. There was a lot of kickback by people. And this is when we got J. Scott Campbell just coming out with the bland, reductive statement of, I read that Comicsgate was. And who did he have talking to him? Lots of women from Comicsgate. People who are women. There are people who are gay. There are people who are black. But somehow that's how he wanted to respond. Even though he'd listened to videos and understood people's perspectives, suddenly he was going to go close-minded, I read as, and then decides to play the victim that he's now being attacked by these people. No, these people are asking for a statement. They're asking for explanations of how you can go from open-minded to closed-minded so quickly. I read that. Now, I decided to reach out to J. Scott Campbell myself, and I did it in a very respectful manner. The person who had just, less than 24 hours earlier, shown my support, and I said, after he wrote, who knew that clarifying that you were against hate speech, making threats, bigotry, etc. would get so many upset and drop you? But hey, that's modern society. No! That's because these people who came to defend you are suddenly being tarred with all of these anti-trans, anti-black, anti-women, alt-right. And you know that, so don't try and play dumb now. So I said, a lot of people threw support behind you and your freedom to create, then got labeled alt-right or anti-this and that. And you likely got pressured into your statement by the very people who have torn mainstream comics apart. I like your work a lot, but you bit the hand that feeds. You were being attacked, you got defended, and then you released a statement attacking the defenders. You bit the hand that fed you. So this unbelievable, I can't believe this reply, but here we go. If you self-identify with hate speech, I'm sorry that you got your feelings hurt. Wow. It's not identifying with hate speech, you fucking idiot. It's called empathy. It's called empathy for the people that defended you, who are now getting labeled this, that, and the other. If you're Comicsgate, according to you, you're anti-LGBT, you're anti-trans, you're hate speech, you promote hate speech, you're bigoted. And so the people who like to refer to themselves as Comicsgate, who don't fit any of that criteria, yes, I imagine they would be a little bit upset by that. Because they are just being labelled, blanket labelled, by the people who hide behind their labels and the people who have destroyed the mainstream comic book industry. For all you know, I could have been shaming the hate speech that I saw from the left too? No. No. Because you said, let me make this as clear as I possibly can. I am completely and totally against any bigoted comments, anti-LGBT, anti-trans, hate speech of any kind, threats of any sort of things. I have no affiliation with Comicsgate. Alt-right, anti-woman. Where's the left? Where is and the people on the left who also espouse to this ideology? That's not there. That's not there. The only time you mention the left is when you say, I don't believe censorship is a left or a right thing. That's the only time you bring the left in. That's the only time that you bring the left in. Nothing about drawing sexy ladies identifies me with either political stance. I ain't talking politics. I'm talking what you're labeling people. And this is going on and on and on. Now, I've got my own issues with Comicsgate, and it's not the people. I have my issues, and my issues are, I'm still waiting. I've got 11 pages worth of comics bought, and I'm still waiting for a lot of campaigns to be fulfilled. And I think there is a lot of campaigns out there which is sort of taking the piss a little bit. And they're not getting their act together and not getting their books out on time. And I have the right as a customer to be frustrated when I'm waiting 15, 16, 17, 18 plus months for a comic to come out, when I'm investing in a comic book and then after tens of thousands of dollars have been raised, turned around and gone, it's not going to happen. To have the due date moved and moved and moved and moved so the campaign can remain open and what looks like just to be milked for money instead of actually taking care of the people who have put their money in and waiting for their comic. This is just my personal opinion. So I've got my frustrations with Comicsgate, but it's from a customer standpoint. Because I know there are fucking damn good people within that. And I don't want to start mentioning names, because if I just mention a few names and I won't say other names, people will start getting all butthurt. But there are beautiful people in there that don't have a hateful bone in their body that I am glad to call friend. Proud to call friend. But from a customer standpoint, there are some frustrations that I have, which I have every right to. And here we have another mainstream comic book artist who just throws the people who are defending them, the people who are actually having the balls to stand up for you, under the bus, because you got the call from the people who have fucked up your own industry to say, denounce, 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 or we're coming for you. Cowardice. Cowardice. Sorry, folks, I know this was a long rant, but I needed it to be a long rant because I'm just so fucking done with comics in general right now. I'm just so fucking done with the whole thing. Maybe I'll give the print away to somebody. I don't know. Maybe I'll give it to an orphanage or some shit. I don't know. But I think J. Scott Campbell, I'm done. I'm done supporting you now. Okay? I'm done. I'm done. I'm sick and tired of dealing with people that don't have balls. I'm sick and tired of dealing with people who don't have the guts to stand up for their own industry. It's just full of cowards. It's just full of cowards. Hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, do get a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media and YouTube for live streaming links. They're in the description box down below. I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care. Bye for now.